Seriously, I can go all day with this. Anyway, let's just take this off for a second. So, Solo, a Star Wars story. Still a very ridiculous, stupid title, but the movie works. And trust me, it's a very, very good movie. I mean, I realize it's, I realize it's the popular thing to say right now that, oh, Disney's ruining Star Wars! Disney ruining Star Wars! Shut up! Star Wars was dead before Disney got it, okay? Disney did not ruin Star Wars. George Lucas did that all on his own. And all Disney did was just acquire a dead franchise and reinvigorate it, okay? It brought it back to prominence. It gave it that Hollywood majesty that it used to have. And, I mean, seriously, just either shut up or grow up. Because, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but that's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Star Wars was dead, and for better or worse, whether you like the new Star Wars movies or not, if it wasn't for Disney, there wouldn't be a Star Wars the way we know it today. And that's the end of the matter. I'm not even going to waste any more time talking about it. So, Solo, a Star Wars story. Yes, another one of these Disney Star Wars movies. And it is awesome. I mean, seriously, one of the best. Chalk another victory for Disney in that department. I mean, between Marvel and Star Wars, I mean, Disney's just killing it. Not just in the box office, but also as far as quality. I mean, because that's what Solo is. It's a very high quality movie, and it literally is a Phoenix story in a way. Because just a little bit of background. I mean, originally the writers and directors of the Jump Street movies and the Lego movie, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who also wrote and directed Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, they were attached to write, not write, but direct Solo, a Star Wars story, and allegedly, I mean, I'm not gonna confirm or deny that I know any of this stuff, but from reports, it looks as though things weren't going well on set. They were constantly arguing with Lawrence Kasdan, the screenwriter, and they were going off script, and they were improvising a lot of stuff, and they made it kind of a very goofy comedy. And Lawrence Kasdan wasn't gonna have it, and he is Lawrence Kasdan after all, so he went right straight to Kathleen Kennedy, and who is, by the way, the CEO of Lucasfilm. And Lord and Miller got booted off the project, and they brought in a very safe director in Ron Howard, who is a Hollywood darling. I mean, he's been around for many years, and he's worked with Kathleen Kennedy on a lot of projects. So they brought him in as a sort of a backup director, and he just had to basically start from scratch. They threw out almost everything that Lord and Miller did, and made a completely new movie out of it. And the end result was brilliant. It was perfect. This wasn't like another Justice League situation where Zack Snyder directed half of it, and then Joss Whedon directed the other half, and they kind of mixed and matched it, and the end result was the end result. So this movie stars Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo, who did it just beautifully. I mean, it really is young Han Solo, which I like to call Young Solo, because it fits. I mean, he wasn't exactly, Harrison Ford's Solo, which is fine, I guess, because he's a lot younger. I mean, this movie does take place a few years before Harrison Ford's Han Solo was introduced, so it makes sense that he'd be a little bit different. I mean, it did kind of take me a while, but after maybe 2 or 3 minutes into the movie, I was like, oh my god, that's Han Solo. I don't care whatever you're gonna say, that character, the way he's being portrayed by that actor, is undoubtedly Han Solo, and he did a magnificent job as Han Solo. I mean, I'm so glad that Disney was able to find such a very talented actor to portray the sensibilities of Han Solo without him actually resorting to doing a Harrison Ford impersonation, because that's not what I would have wanted. I wanted him to be his own thing, but stay within the parameters of the Han Solo character. And it worked. And some of the other characters also worked, like the Mother of Dragons herself, Emilia Clarke, who played as a character called Kira. Not going to talk too much about her and her connection to Han, but yeah, she did a very good job. I mean, I had no doubt. I mean, a little bit of a confession to make. I don't watch Game of Thrones, a problem that I will correct eventually, but I had no doubt that Emilia Clarke can pull this off, even though I haven't watched anything she did so far. I mean, I didn't watch Me Before You for obvious reasons. I didn't watch Terminator Genesis, so I went. This is literally my first Emilia Clarke experience, and it works. Woody Harrelson. I mean, Woody Harrelson is Woody Harrelson. I mean, he's just phenomenal in everything he does, and he did his part very well. Paul Bettany as the villain, which was a surprise to me, because I thought, they were going to play him up as a bit of a kind of a over-the-top sort of a guy that I wasn't going to be too happy with, and it didn't. I mean, kind of felt, without too many spoilers, it kind of feels like they were going that direction from the first shot of him in the movie, from literally the first thing you see him do. But basically after that, as soon as he starts, talking, I mean, he's a very, very good villain in my opinion. And what's the word? He was very intimidating, which is not something I thought I'd say about someone with the calm demeanor of Paul Bettany. Of course, we got to talk about Lando, played by Donald Glover. I mean, just the guy is Lando in real life and in this movie. I mean, this guy just embodies the spirit of a young Billy D. Williams, and it was incredible to watch. I mean, it was just a joy to see his interactions with Han and his interactions with everyone around him. It was just brilliant. The droid character, L3, I forget the name of the actress at the moment, but she very much surprised me for the best. I mean, I thought she was just going to be another generic, K2SO sort of thing. And I love K2SO, don't get me wrong. I love K2SO from Rogue One, but from the trailers I didn't really think L3 was going to be that surprising. And she was. She was very, very pleasant surprise. I'm so glad I got to have my mind change about her. And, I mean, the obvious star of the movie is, surprisingly enough, not Han Solo, but Chewbacca, played by, hold on, Yunus Swatamu. Yes, that's his name. Yunus Swatamu. Yes, that forget about it. Yunus Swatamu as Chewbacca was, I mean, the equivalent of, and I've seen this comparison before, the equivalent of Darth Vader showing up at the end of Rogue One. I mean, finally we get to see, I guess you can say Chewbacca unleashed. And if we're going for a teensy bit of a spoiler, Chewbacca Unchained. That would be a better turn, and I guess somebody's dying outside. Forget that. It's kind of hard to concentrate with my ADD, but Chewbacca just he stole the show on every occasion that he was on screen, and it's not because I was wearing this. I mean, Chewbacca. First of all, the interaction between Chewbacca and Han were stellar. I mean, that literally is the Chewbacca and the Han that everyone wants to see, with, of course, younger versions of themselves. And I think Jonas and Alden just nailed it. What else? The story itself I actually found to be surprisingly very, very good. I mean, there were some things that, very predictable. I mean, I knew that was gonna happen, and oh yeah, guess what? That happens, and oh yeah, I bet they're gonna do that. Oh, there we go, they did it. So, there weren't too many surprises. There was a lot of predictable moments, and then there was just several other moments that just blew me away in a way that I was not expecting. And I can't really go into these things without giving away any spoilers. So I'm gonna just finish up this section of the interview, the review, and go to a spoilery sort of section in 3, 2, 1. So this guy shows up, and I don't really know if you can see him from that distance, but yeah, Darth Maul is alive. Shocker! But I mean, I really wouldn't expect any less from the franchise that gave us the "I am your father" moment. So, I mean, whenever it's a Star Wars related story involved, you can always count on a massive plot twist at the end. Most of the time, at least. But yeah. So Darth Maul is alive. No, he's not dead. He did not die on Naboo by Obi-Wan. He actually survived that, and I knew that. I mean, it's common knowledge, really. Guess that reference. But I honestly didn't think they'd actually put him in the movie. Least of all this one. So that was such a pleasant surprise to see. Not only Ray Park coming back to do the physical aspect of Darth Maul, even though there wasn't that much physicalness in it, but oh yeah, it was nice to see not only Ray Park do the physical part, but Sam Witwer as the voice of Darth Maul, which was just it really is a joy to hear. I mean, when he shows up in the movie, I was like, again, I did mention that I'm in spoiler territory, so I'm gonna just say this. Basically, you see, well, to hell with it. Kira betrays Han at the end, and she, opens a comlink with a cloaked holographic character. We don't know who it is. She's talking to him. Then he starts to talk, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know that voice. It's familiar. I can't place the origin. I mean, what? Oh my God! It's Darth Maul. I mean, he just takes off his, hood, and I'm like, yeah, that was the exact face I was making at that moment, because just, it's Darth Maul. He's one of my favorite characters, even though he did kind of got the short end of the lightsaber in the Phantom Menace. They've used him brilliantly in some of the animated series and in the comics, and it was a joy to watch this character on screen again, and hopefully we get to see a little bit more of him further down the road. So, Solo, Star Wars story, and I just made a mess as usual. Solo, a Star Wars story. What else can I say except I love this movie. I recommend that you watch it. And if I were to give you a bit of a score, I'd say that out of the four Disney Star Wars movies that have come out, I'd say that my least favorite one is probably The Last Jedi. Even though I thoroughly enjoyed it, I really had a great time in the theater. I saw it twice in the theater, but yeah. Then obviously there's in third spot is Han Solo, but by a lot. I mean, if The Last Jedi is here, then Solo Star Wars Story is somewhere over here. Because I really love this movie. Then a little bit after that is The Force Awakens, which I absolutely adored. I love the Force Awakens. I saw it 4 times in the theater. Get this. And somewhere over here, my favorite one is Rogue One. I think Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, is just an all-time Star Wars story. And yes, I said it. I would put that movie up against the original trilogy, and I defy anyone to tell me otherwise. So, that's my review on Solo, A Star Wars Story. Tell me in the comments down below if you actually care to share your opinions. What do you think of Solo, A Star Wars Story? Did you like it? Did you not? And, well, share, like, and subscribe as usual. And, until then, hold on, so I don't come out looking like an idiot more than usual. So, until then,